Successful pasture management is key to optimizing the health of our cattle herd. And today I'm going to show you just how I do that even when I'm not at Harvest Hills Ranch. Hi, I'm Dr. Arland Hill with Harvest Hills Ranch. And today I'm going to share with you how I manage our pastures even when I'm not around at the ranch. Today you can see in the background here, I've got the ocean behind me. I'm actually sitting in my hotel room enjoying a day after some business meetings, but I still need to take care of things that are going on at the ranch. I still need to make sure that the cows are getting what they need to. Leah's doing a great job of doing that while I'm away, but on the management side, I still need to make decisions that are going to optimize the health of our herd. A couple of things that I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to show you how I use a spreadsheet to be able to accomplish that. But first, let's talk about the reasons that I need to do that to begin with. Being able to move the herd around is a critical element to optimizing the way that we run our system. We want the cattle moving all the time, but we also have to keep in mind that as we're moving the cows, we want to make sure that we're allowing ample opportunity for the land to rest before the cows come back around. We want to make sure that we're not abusing our pastures, that we're not abusing our resources. We want to make sure that the grasses, especially in the growing season, have ample time to recover, and that during the winter months when the grasses aren't growing, that we're maybe, if the season's wet, that we're not trampling too much into the ground, or we're not hurting the pastures in some way. So we need to keep up, have a good idea of where the cows are at all the time. Another reason that we want to be really on top of this management part of our pastures is we also want to be able to see exactly where the cows have been in relation to their manure distribution. We want to make sure that the cows don't cycle back around to the same area too often, because we don't want them to come back into an area too soon where they might run the risk of getting parasites that are often associated with their manure. We need to give them a time frame. We need to allow that parasite cycle to exhaust itself before it has an opportunity to infect the animals. The reason that's important to the consumer is that allows us not to have to use toxic wormers. Those are less inputs that we have to put into the system, but it's also toxins that are not necessary to introduce into the animal just because we're keeping them moving and we're keeping them away from the risk of being infected by those parasites. So with that, in terms of giving you some ideas of why we do this, let me now share with you exactly what this looks like. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the screen here. And as I share this screen with you, what I want you to see is that we keep track of this across the entire year. It's important for us to be able to look at this at any time, at a quick glance, and see exactly where those animals are at, where they've been, and I can do a quick assessment to say it's been 30 days, it's been 60 days, it's been 90 days since those animals have been in that location. And as a result of that, that allows me to be able to make a quick management decision so that I can optimize the next move that I'm going to make with those animals. So with that being said, let me go ahead and share this again with you here. What I'm going to share with you here is nothing more than a simple Excel spreadsheet. It was just an easy thing that I came up with. Now you'll see that up on the screen here in front of you. And what you'll notice right off the bat with this document is that I've got my pastures delineated out. We've got 6 pastures that we utilize predominantly, and I want each one of those pastures labeled. And I'm also not just labeling by name, I'm also labeling by color. And this allows me, when I need to do something at a quick glance, to be able to see exactly really where was everything at? What did the year look like at a glance? I can do that by having everything color coded. So again, we start out by naming the pastures, color coding those, and then within each pasture, I have the pasture subdivided into lanes, and then I have the lanes subdivided into paddocks. And each day the cows get a paddock, so I can do a quick assessment of how many foraging days. I can do some forecasting and see how many foraging days out in front we might have in a particular paddock. I can also, as I'm keeping track of this, did I move the cows 1 time per day? Did I move them 3 times in that single paddock? Did we do multiple moves that day? Those are also things that I keep track of. There's certain times of the year when I want to be more aggressive about doing that. There's other times of the year when I want to pull the reins back on how many times we're moving. And maybe during calving season, I'm not looking to move multiple times a day. Maybe I only want 1 move per day. So it just depends on the situation and time of year there that we're looking at. The other thing that the calendar allows me to be able to do is it gives me some insight into where the animals have been versus where I'm looking to stockpile grasses for the cool season at. I can make sure that the cows have been away from that area long enough that it will, by the time the cool season's hit and the grasses go into a dormant state, that there's been an ample amount of time available for those grasses to grow, such that when I do turn the animals back into that area during the cool season, that we're able to utilize as much forage in that area as possible. You'll notice on this that even when I make some notations in here, if I overseed areas, for example, like in the area that you're looking at here, I've got oats, ryegrass, and some turnips that we put in there. And that was just a combination that I overseeded with, but that's what I made note of that the cows were using at that time. I also keep up with when I back graze an area. Maybe I'm back grazing to a central watering location, to one of the ponds. So those are just some things that I keep up with as well. And I make note in my grazing schedule as well. If we're going to be feeding hay, when did I feed hay? When did I start feeding hay? Those are all things that I keep track of as well, because those do have impact on my grazing schedule as well. But the bottom line on this is that I do this because systematically it allows me to make better management decisions, and I think it allows me to be more efficient in what I'm able to do and provide for the herd and how I'm supporting them as they're going through their life cycle. And as they're looking to we're looking to try to optimize their nutrition. So wanted to share that with you today. It's just a way that we're trying to use electronic resources to do better work out on the ranch here, and I thought you might have some interest in seeing that. If you like the video, go ahead and give it a like. Go ahead and hit it with that thumbs up. And if you want to see more information like this, if you're interested in understanding how holistic principles can be implemented into a regenerative agriculture environment so that we can optimize the nutrition, that we can truly develop nutrient-rich food, come back to the channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll be happy to share with you ways that we do that, from the market garden, through our chickens, through the cattle herd that we have, really all the ways that we're trying to do that in a full, complete environment out here at the farm. So again, thanks for joining us again today, guys. I'm Dr. Arland Hill with Harvest Hills Ranch.